Hello, my name is Heidi Trimarco with the Conservation Law Foundation, and we will be submitting written comments, but I will summarize those for the Corps' review tonight. First and foremost, given the significant size and scope of this project, it requires an environmental impact statement. And so we will be looking for the Corps' full review of the project in an EIS. I'll note the project calls for the destruction of at least 11 acres of wetlands and the clearing of 90 acres of forest, which I haven't heard Casella discuss much, but I have found in their filings, and I think it's very notable that they plan to clear cut, or as their description is, convert 90 acres of forest to unforest. The Corps must also consider the project as a whole. It can't consider segmentation, as the Corps is aware. And so they must consider Casella's reasonably foreseeable plans to expand the landfill. Casella now says it's going to operate for 18 years, but we all know the plan is to expand the landfill again and again and again. This is what happened in Bethlehem. We don't have to look far. It's incredibly foreseeable to know that this is their business plan. And this was their plan when they first submitted the application years ago. The first plan called for it to be developed in 3 phases. At the state's request, they withdrew that application and resubmitted the first stage. So we're just looking at the first stage now. We need to look at the larger impact, which is originally called for 137, 140 acres of landfill, not 70 acres. The comments will detail our concerns of the significant harm to the waters and the environment, and that Casella has not demonstrated a sufficient alternatives analysis. Most recently, the evidence of that is the state's request to Casella to provide more alternatives information just this past Monday. They certainly have not demonstrated the LEPA standard. As you've heard tonight, there's no public benefit. New Hampshire does not need another landfill. As we've been fighting the NCES expansions, we've clearly demonstrated we have sufficient capacity.
I'll cede my time if she needs more time.
I'll make it very fast. I think as part of the public interest review, it will be very important for the Corps to consider the company's dismal performance record at their other facilities, Coventry and NCES most specifically. As we know, there was a letter of deficiency just issued to Casella in the past week or so. The Corps must also consider the fate of the leachate that will be leaving the facility. As we know, Casella is shipping huge volumes of leachate to other facilities in the state, currently to the Manchester wastewater treatment facility, which is not equipped to handle this leachate, including very large volumes of PFAS, which is then just released into the Merrimack River or incinerated and released into the air. And this is a very serious concern. The Merrimack River is within the scope of the Corps' review. It is a water of the United States. And as we also know from Bethlehem, if the Corps is not satisfied and if Casella hasn't demonstrated a plan to deal with this leachate, they will hold it on site. And there was a letter of deficiency letter addressing this very specific practice of behavior that Casella has of holding that leachate in unsafe ways on site as it gathers. And they're generating huge volumes of leachate. We urge the Corps to hold a public hearing. And I'm very interested, last but not least, in the meaningful engagement that's planned tonight for environmental justice concerns. And we're questioning who are the stakeholders that are being consulted in this environmental justice? What communities are being consulted? And I hope there is real meaningful engagement with the people who will be asked to bear the burden of the landfill.
Sir, an exercise of discretion, I urge you to let the lady continue.
This is my last. The people that will smell it, hear it, that will bear the traffic impacts, and the people in downstream communities who will bear the burden of the PFAS contamination in the leachate, specifically the communities in Manchester and Nashua. They must be included in that environmental justice meaningful discussion. Thank you.